Occult Confessions is brought to you commercial free through the generous support of our patrons. Visit occultconfessions.com and click on Donate to help keep the history of the occult on the digital airwaves.
Imagine watching someone you love join a group. This group dictates what they do with all their time, the mindsets they have, and where all their money goes. You watch them go into debt and lose their sense of self, becoming more like the group's ideals than the person they once were. If you dare say anything against this group that's become like a family to them, they will cut you out of their lives for being negative. Now, if I asked you what kind of a group this was, you'd most likely say a cult. However, if you asked anyone inside the group, they would say it's not a cult, they're a boss babe, a hustler. That's right, it's not a cult as we've come to know them. It's a new kind of cult, a business cult, also known as an MLM, multi-level marketing.
Scheme.
And though there have been no mass murders in the name of multi-level marketing, people have died as a direct cause of the negative impacts of joining an MLM has had on their lives. Instead of joining a traditional cult where you give up your everyday life and move to a compound somewhere, people can now, in a sense, join a cult from the comfortability of their own home, their own life, anywhere in the world at any time. Thanks to the internet, you no longer need to be in the same room as someone or some group to be brainwashed by them. My name is Nikki Hiller Henderson, the Naked Truth, and today I'll be leading the conversation, joined by our Supreme Hierophant, Rob C. Thompson.
Hey there. Yes, this is episode 2, and yeah, Nikki's in charge. It's exciting. Nikki, how's it feel? Feeling good up there?
Feel like you trust me. He was brave enough to let me write this one.
Yeah, we have 3 episodes in a row here by the actors. Savannah did the first one. This one's Nikki's. We'll have Luke coming next, and then I'll clean up at the end. But yeah, I'm excited for this.
And we also are joined by Andrew Mims, whose title cannot be spoken. How dare you even ask me?
Yeah, I have my best scientist working on it. Unfortunately, I do not have any scientists currently working.
So your
on how
best
to pronounce
scientists are no scientists.
It's all I got.
Fair enough.
Have you guys ever been, has anyone ever tried to recruit you guys into a multi-level marketing scheme?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Right, Mims? Don't you get the DMs and stuff?
I largely ignore them, or I just mess with them in turn.
But you get them, right? It's like it's like your standard scam. It's out there, the scamming.
Yeah.
It'll be someone you know, maybe you went to like school with them, or it's like a friend of a friend, and they'll be like, just strike up a conversation randomly, and then just be like, hey, I have a really good opportunity for you.
I mean, it working in theater and the arts, I've known many actors who actually are doing this or do this because they think it's a side hustle.
Be so careful. It's not.
Yeah. Well, you're going to tell us today. Have you, Nikki?
Yeah.
You've received these invitations?
No, but I know a lot of people who've tried to sell Scentsy and the Unique mascara.
Unique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like of all the actors, you may be the least capitalist of them, Nikki. I mean, and you're Canadian, so that helps.
I despise capitalism.
Yeah. I mean, most of us do, so that's really saying something.
It kind of sucks.
But I feel like what an MLM is at its core is if you cross capitalism with like Heaven's Gate, like then you have an MLM.
It is. It's like we worship money, and that I could not be farther from anything I believe in.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, today I set to prove that MLMs... Oh, wait, no, we're going to do the pledge, so ignore that part. Okay, wait.
So you got to say, let's pledge it out.
Okay, let's pledge it out. We the members of the Secret Order of Alchemical Actors do solemnly commit ourselves to a full and honest telling of the history of the occult
as far as we know it.
I thought we weren't a secret group.
What? Well, we are in the pledge.
Oh, okay.
We have our secrets. No one knows what we're wearing right now. We have our secrets.
Some of us have less secrets than others. It's in my title.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So today, I set out to prove that MLMs are a modern-day cult. that they have all the dangers cults have and a wider reach socially and politically, making it harder to see the negative effects of MLMs as they are spread out worldwide.
Let me just say for folks, MLM, in case you're feeling a little slow, you're listening to this too early in the morning, multi-level marketing, as Nikki mentioned at the beginning, MLM.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Uh,
never know. Sometimes the acronyms fly over our heads.
there'll be a few acronyms, but I'll spell them out.
There
And
you go. All right, so Nikki, when you enter an MLM, let's think about how the guys at the top make money. So you become the downline to the person above you. They are your
yes,
upline.
yes, the way that the company makes money from you is you have to sign up, and that usually requires buying a bundle of whatever you'll be selling. And that's usually hundreds hundreds of dollars at least. And then there is a monthly fee, or it depends on the group, either a monthly fee or a monthly amount of products you have to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the company pushes you to personally buy the products
For yourself.
because because you should be living the brand, embodying the brand, or supporting your own company, however they want to say it, but they're still taking more of your money. And then if you recruit someone, um, they make money from that. You make a tiny bit of money from that. They make more.
Okay,
And
so
then
real quick, so that's the pyramid of it, right? Is that
yeah,
your upline gets a little bit of all the things you sell. They get a cut of everything you sell. And then when you
yes,
develop a downline, you get a cut of everything they sell. But
yes,
also your upline, the guy above you, gets a cut of what your downline sells as well. So the
yes,
money accumulates closer and closer
What's
to the top.
yeah. And the people at the bottom get less and less, and the more people you're underneath, the harder it is.
Yeah.
what's stopping someone from just leaving the MLM and just selling their stock on like Facebook Marketplace or something?
Honestly, no one wants the garbage because so many people are in MLMs, and it's such a problem that, like, if you have a bunch of the stock, probably a lot of people in your area also have a lot of that stock, so you're not selling it.
Yeah, you're just stuck with the junk.
And people will talk bad about you if you leave a company. You're like, no one will talk to you. And so anyone who knows anyone who's still in the company will think badly of you, not want to talk to you, won't do business with you. So there's really the only way that you can make money in an MLM is if you actually are able to sell something or recruit someone and they're able to sell something.
That downline.
But the company makes money when you join, off you every month, off your extra purchases, um, off every person you recruit. And it just is so uneven, the amount of ways the company can make money off of you versus the amount of ways you can make money with the company.
Well, and it's almost you don't really need to sell product. You need to recruit people to sell product.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you theoretically can do best. Is if you don't even bother selling product and just focus on recruiting people to do the selling.
Absolutely, which is so funny because that's what they had to promise up and down they're not doing
Right. But
because
there's the
that's
pyramid. Yeah, that's
illegal.
the pyramid right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes.
So, as of 2017, MLMs do have inherently a bad rap. They're more well known now for like the, hey girlie, I have a great opportunity for you DMs, or maybe the fact that the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, put a report themselves out in 2017 claiming that 99% of all people in a multi level marketing model of business lose money. And let me tell you, that is not nearly the worst of it. But before I get too ahead of myself, let me give you some quick definitions. They're my definitions, they're not official Wikipedia ones. So,
Yeah,
a
but even
cult,
better that way.
right? So, cults. I think we should all know what a cult is. Think Jonestown, Heaven's Gate, or most recently that Love is One cult. So, a
Yeah,
cult
yeah.
is a group of people that is brainwashed to be devoted to a cause or person, so much so that they will do anything to please or stay within said group.
But like self brainwashed. You talk yourself into it, right? To some extent.
To some extent, I think it
Yeah.
goes. It's you have to talk yourself into it, but also people work really hard to talk you into it.
There's a back and forth, a negotiation between your willingness to go along and the effort at coercing you.
Absolutely.
Consensual brainwashing.
Well, yeah, I mean, insofar as, we've talked on the show about how you don't actually, like, your brain doesn't actually change. Like, you're just making a very bad choice, and someone is encouraging you to make that bad choice. But there's, at your core, your mind is still the same.
Yeah. So, as mentioned, MLM is an acronym that is often short form of multi-level marketing, or that I will use often as a short form for multi-level marketing. It can also be called social marketing, one-to-one sales, network marketing, and many more. But let's be honest, it's a pyramid scheme in witness protection. It's the same dude with new names. Pyramid schemes became illegal due to a ruling by the Federal Trade Commission in 2011, stating that companies can't be making more money from recruiting people to sell their products than actually selling products, which they were. And the new rule for multi level marketing, which is totally not just a pyramid scheme and a hat and a mustache, wink, wink, is that you have to make a certain amount of the company's money from selling actual products, not just from recruiting people to sell them. Unfortunately, this didn't actually fix anything though, because the money is still coming from the recruits. Just now, the recruits have to buy more products to sell or not sell. The company doesn't really care. They've already made their money.
So the product changes the way it works, the
Yes, they're
existence of the product.
Yes, and the fact that the recruits, the salespeople, have to buy the product in order to sell it or not sell it.
So it's like a
So
cheap workaround, really.
every month, a person in the MLM will have to pay a certain amount or buy a certain amount of products to stay active as a member. And that's the reworking of the pyramid scheme so that it can't be called a pyramid scheme.
Because you're actually getting some product in return.
Yeah,
A pure pyramid scheme would just be an exchange of monies.
exactly. And this still is. They've just found a nice fancy way to rework it.
Just, hey, here's some lotions. This is legal now.
Yeah.
You fill your garage with lotions and now it's above board. So if you, like, in theory, then you could be like, oh, well, yeah, I lost all my money, but I got this garage full of lotion now, so it's not
That
a total
you'll,
loss.
yeah, except for it is because usually the market's so highly saturated in towns and communities that you can't sell it because everyone's selling it.
Got a garage full of worthless lotion, but my skin is going to be so moist.
Could be so soft, guys.
The
It only
softest guy on the
cost me
block.
my house.
Hey, we shouldn't laugh. It's sad stuff.
Hey, but you got a bunch of boxes.
Yes,
Ugh.
we do have the boxes too, which you can use for weed control.
Yeah, or to
Little
live in
gardening tip.
after you lose your home.
Oh, right. You don't have a yard anymore. Well,
No. Nope.
yikes.
Another term that I threw out there, which you may have never heard of, is a corporate cult or a business cult. This is a company or corporation that operates in unethical and coercive ways to lure and keep people working for their company, making it so people willingly, under the impression it's good for them, give them all their time, money, and intense devotion one would give to a cult leader to the company. These corporate cults are framed as an opportunity to change your life, to give you the financial freedom and the success that everyone craves in this modern day hustle culture, where success is everything and everyone online is living their best lives 24/7.
So it's sort of like taking our Instagram exaggerations and making them business pitches now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a lifestyle. You can work from home. You get to spend more time with your kids if you have them, except for all of your time is going to be eaten up trying to sell this product no one wants.
And isn't the
And
product, I mean, like, you're solicited, like, if you got pregnant and now you lost a lot of weight, and, like, you're solicited or you're trying to lose weight, like someone might solicit you for a weight loss MLM, right? Or
absolutely, it's
something like
very
that.
predatory in that way. They go after people they see a weakness they can go after. Do you have a sick family member? My health product is great.
Mm.
Do you need to lose weight? I have a weight loss product. It's very predatory.
But the people doing the preying are acquaintances from the sophomore year of high school.
Which is what I believe makes it worse, because there is an inherent level of trust when you already know someone.
Yeah.
And you don't want to think that the people in your life are out to screw you over, and they're not, because they probably don't think they are.
They believe that this is a possible way to make money.
Except for the people who are in the top ranks. They know the only reason they got there is from recruiting people and not from selling products.
The upline.
And just other people over.
They are willingly. That's the thing. The top leaders and the founders are the people that are screwing everyone over, which is like in a cult, there's like 1% that benefits from the work of everyone.
That's just gross.
Mickey, you mentioned the FTC, but do you know the FTC is the US, right? Do you know in Canada there's laws against any of this?
I think it's the same.
Same situation. So you can do an MLM, but you can't do a pyramid scheme.
That's the across the board pretty much in most countries I looked into. It's as long as it's a MLM and not a pyramid scheme, you're fine. As long as you sell a product, you're okay.
I mean, I guess there could get to be a slippery slope. It's like the difference between an MLM and, I don't know, just like an online university. Right? Like,
yeah.
If you're a for-profit college, like things start to get a little slippery as to when you're actually selling a product and when you're selling snake oil. But
exactly, which is like MLM or Nexium is a one extreme but good example, because it was a convicted cult, but also a business that used the multi-level marketing model.
Right. Yeah, you had to invest and buy the classes.
And people know that's a cult. That's common knowledge now. And people also know it's a multi-level marketing model business.
Mims, how high up did you get in the Nexium cult?
I saw the name, I thought it was cool, and I lost my life savings.
Damn it! Every time.
You were like,
fortunately for me, my life savings was nothing. So like,
you spent it all on those scientists you never
exactly,
got, yeah.
And then,
but so you were like, that is such an unusual spelling of a word, and you were instantly broke.
That's how it goes, really.
They all have really weird spellings of weird words.
The MLMs, that's a common thing. Yeah. Oh yeah, unique. Yeah.
Just prove it, but it's PRUV.
Oh wow, that's hip.
That'll come up later in a big way.
They're like rappers.
Oh no. MLMs have all the cult classics. Religious and faith manipulations are common in many MLMs. However, closeness to God is not the objective of an MLM. God seems to be, as it can also be in a cult, a way to draw people in to their cause. The cause in cults and MLMs is to make money for one person or one company, disguised as a way to fill the needs of many. One gross example of faith healing is Young Living essential oils, who prey on people's religious devotion by mentioning that essential oils were used in the Bible. What was Mary putting on Jesus' feet? Oil. What did they bring baby Jesus? Frankincense and myrrh. It's in the Bible, people. Do you love God? Join this MLM right now.
Yeah, we got to get some myrrh.
Also, if that doesn't sell you guys, the founder of Young Living, Gary Young, claimed that he himself was once fully paralyzed but used his Young Living essential oils to heal himself to full moving capability.
Something tells me that's not how he got movement back, or he was never paralyzed in the first place.
There's definitely some combination of frankincense and olive oil.
It's modern day faith healing. You don't have to do it in front of a crowd of people now. You could just say you did it.
Yeah, all you got to do is just, just dip yourself in spices like a chicken.
Season yourself like a salad.
Yeah, exactly. Just rub some seasonings on you, you're good to go.
Colonel Mim's secret recipe.
Just rub this shit on your leg, you good, kid.
Other MLMs have also made dangerous health claims, with people online sharing horror stories of their doctors selling them on MLM products instead of actual medical intervention. Health products from MLMs being recommended and wholeheartedly endorsed, but weirdly enough, not FDA approved. And it's leading to suffering and, in worst cases, actual deaths.
That's ethical.
Yep. Yeah. They make up fun little terms like to say it was tested by or tested for like ethical quality, but that's not an actual like standard in the FDA. That's
No.
just something they came up with to be like, no, it's tested. We ethically tested it, but that's not a real thing if you look it up.
I have so many feelings about that, and none of them are great.
And preying on people's bad health and making it worse.
Mm.
And it gets so much worse and scarier. More similarities include coercion and violence. In 2017 in China, China had to crack down on MLMs because they were becoming more like organized crime rings than multi-level marketing companies. A 23-year-old man was beaten to death for refusing to sign up for an MLM, and it wasn't an isolated incident.
Shit.
Yeah. People were being beaten, murdered, and get this, kidnapped, then forced to sign up for an MLM or held hostage while made to recruit other people.
Why?
What the
Yeah.
Why would
To
you
make
murder
money.
somebody? To intimidate others?
Yep, absolutely. It was becoming an actual crime ring. And that's when I think China cracked down harder on pyramid schemes, quote unquote.
Do you know what the product was?
Some of it was Amway. That's
No
all I could
way.
really find out for sure. Yeah.
That's the original MLM.
There's actually a news report on an incident in Japan where a woman back in 2022 went out to meet someone off a dating app. And on the date, she was lured to a non-public location and forced to sign up for Amway. After the police were involved in this particular case, it led to only a 6-month ban on all of Amway's sales and recruitment in Japan.
Because
what the
Japanese love them some Amway almost as much as they love Tupperware.
That's not just 6 months you can't do business, but
not in Japan. But we'll be back. We'll be back.
That is.
And even in the States, more recently, a month ago, former Monet president Stuart McMillan said that he'll be suing MLM Monet, or Monat, that it's a hair one. It's a hair care product. Apparently, it also makes your hair fall out, so that's fun.
Oh, good.
He said
products that does the opposite.
He said he'll be suing because of his treatment and the way that it operates more like a mafia family than a legitimate business.
So who's the guy doing the suing?
The former president
is suing his own company?
Yep. They fired him, and he's suing for wrongful firing and also saying that it operates more like a mafia family than a legitimate business.
Well, let me say this.
Okay, but like that's also like telling on himself in a way.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge self-report.
But if you don't like your hair and then it falls out, aren't you in a better position now?
Thanks, Monet.
Now I don't have the hair, so I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Easier to put on a wig.
Right. Problem solved. While I was editing this episode, I did a little fact-checking, which is fairly common for our process here at Occult Confessions, and I just want to do a few break-ins on Nikki's episode with some additional context to keep the conversation on the up and up, not so much correcting as clarifying the story that's being told. So Monat has actually been accused of causing hair loss, but on the whole, the internet is surprisingly sanguine about the subject. Many shampoo companies face similar accusations, and Monat boasts using natural ingredients in contrast to other mass-produced products. One source numbered the hair loss accusations at Monat at around 800, which is a very small fraction of Monat's customers. Still, it's pretty funny.
And while you may be thinking, at least the days of dragging people out to the middle of nowhere to be mentally and physically broken are behind us, but sadly, no. They're now just called retreats, and people pay for them. Let's look at one example from the former vice president of Just Prove It, Jessie Lee Ward, who online is known as Boss Lee or I'm Boss Lee. She posted this proudly on her Instagram.
I could have spent the $30,000 and just given a glorified team vacation. Instead, I opted for a mastermind crash course of breaking down every single one of these people through seeing them where they are to help bring them to where I see them in the future. I absolutely made them walk 10 miles in direct sunlight without telling them where we would end up, sleeping on a bench instead of the 12-bedroom villa. And for how long, to see who places blame on people when they are at fault for not preparing themselves. Who points fingers? Who gets mad in discomfort? Who uses words like, I can't? And who listens to the thoughts in the head instead of talking to themselves? Pain is in your mind. I absolutely had them jump into the Black Ocean at midnight to surprise them with a swim with glowing plankton. I absolutely only fed them 100% clean meals and forced workouts every single day, ending with 3-minute planks. I absolutely poured all of my love, knowledge, support, energy, and intention into them all week. We had fun, but most importantly, I got to watch 15 people I lead and love go through a complete metamorphosis. If you knew them a week ago, reintroduce yourselves. You don't know them at all. My God, I love my life. And God, thank you endlessly for this calling on my life. I don't take my gifts for granted. Would you take and enjoy a trip like this?
She didn't feed them well. She just basically abused these people for like however long the trip was. And then they were all like, oh my God, it was the time of my life, except for one woman who had to be like helicoptered out of there because she had diabetes and she refused to tell them how long they were walking, so she like had a diabetic attack. But anyway, it's a
Whoa.
long.
Holy shit! So like, this woman just made people pay to get mentally kneecapped.
No, literally, she's like, yeah, I made them walk 10 miles in direct sunlight without telling them where we would end up. Yeah, I made them sleep on a beach. Yeah, I like got. Oh, it's just awful. It's just, and she's just so happy about it. She's just so, and it ends with would you enjoy taking a trip like this? Heart, heart.
No, I would not.
No one would. It sounds like the worst trip ever.
So after the fact, she was like, I did this. Aren't I great?
Yes. And the comments, obviously, they'd been deleting any negative ones because all of the comments were like, yeah, that sounds incredible. Wow.
Nobody's worried about the diabetic helicopter person?
No, because it was really hard to find that information.
Oh, you had to dig to get that.
Yeah, a woman had to be airlifted out of the retreat because she was diabetic, and Jessie refused to tell them how long they'd be walking, so she didn't have her insulin prepared.
And what is the product again?
It's called Just Prove It, and it's a weight loss and health vitamin. Again, not FDA approved. And
so, but there's a relationship between what she's doing to them and what the product is supposed to do to
absolutely.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
She also faced criticism after publicizing her natural treatment plan for her colon cancer, including products she was selling herself. Products that I mentioned are not FDA approved, and upon my further research, can actually cause health problems such as bowel and liver issues. Jessie has been quoted as saying,
My surgeon and the oncologist are 100% pimps. Not of women, of chemo. They love that shit. I have never in my life seen such a strong, compelling sales pitch. They really should go into sales.
So don't do chemo, take this vitamin.
that I'm selling.
Yeah.
So
That's just fucking evil.
I mean, but it
And-
is, faith healers, traditionally, it's all very similar to me in that regard.
oh, it is.
That this can sub for that, if you have faith, it's also prosperity gospel kind of stuff, like the capitalist side of it, that, if you have faith, the product, you will make
work
money.
for you. Absolutely. You have to want it. You have to try hard enough.
Right.
And also give us enough money.
That's it, though. That's the bottom line. So, unfortunately, Jessie would pass away in September of 2023 due to liver failure after battling colon cancer. So, in my opinion, there are certain connections that could be drawn here from this information. However, out of respect for the dead, I will let you all draw your own conclusions there.
She died of the thing that she was telling people she could cure?
As far as my research shows me, yes.
That's so specific, though. I mean,
That's
colon cancer is not
I'd say it's
uncommon, but
ironic.
No, it is. The vitamin supplements that she was peddling, I looked into the ingredients and it said that they can cause bowel and liver problems.
I might not have many good things to say about this person, but at least she stuck by what she believed.
it's like a Greek tragedy, really.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
if not committed. Nothing if not committed. She doesn't sound great. No one deserves to die. And it's unfortunate that she obviously really, really believed in what she was selling, what she was peddling. Or you can think the other way, and she was one of the top people. And as I said, the top people in MLMs usually know exactly what's going on.
Well, obviously, she either didn't or just has just that sliver of honor to die on her own damn sword.
How old was she? Do you know?
She was 35.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That is highly unlikely.
And if you look at her, she looks like a fitness influencer. Like, she is in incredible shape.
That is half the, like, I understand that younger people are apparently being diagnosed with colon cancer more often. However, you have to be like 70 for it to become, over 50 at least, for it to become a
Yeah.
statistical likelihood. They won't even give you a colonoscopy until 45. Just another fact-checking break-in here about exogenous ketones, which are a central ingredient in Prove It. Healthline.com lists digestive issues, a variety of digestive issues, as among the most common side effects of taking exogenous ketones. The word exogenous here means that they're coming from outside. You're taking them as a supplement. We have we produce ketones ourselves in our bodies naturally. Liver issues aren't listed by Healthline.com, but insofar as ketones are meant to mimic the effects of a keto diet, the diet can lead to its own complications, including kidney stones and bad breath.
So then there's the less dark family aspect, the community. This community becomes your life, and you spend all of your time buying and trying to sell products for this company. There's also a lot of time in your day dedicated to they have like video chats, team meetings over video. They have seminars you have to go to, team building trips, those retreats I mentioned, sales party, motivational speeches. There's reading material you're assigned. So, yeah, you get to work from home and you'll have all of this free time. Except for, no, you won't, because they make sure that your day is jam-packed with this company and the importance of this company being shoved in your face. And everyone involved in the group is so thankful and so happy they found this life-changing opportunity. Not because they feel that way, but because if they talk negatively about the opportunity, you're the problem. You're not working hard enough, you don't have the right mindset, and if you do speak out, you're gone. You'll be excommunicated by everyone you've come to know and spent all of your time with. This found family you've made will all block you, call you a quitter, and use you as an example of how not everyone wants to work as hard as they need to be successful.
So this is whether you quit or whether you just can't make the grade from month to month. You can't buy enough product for your garage.
Exactly. If you can't fulfill your monthly membership, you obviously didn't try hard enough. You're not committed enough. It gets really bad in the faith manipulation ones too, because they'll be like, well, God put you here. And God doesn't give you anything you can't handle.
Right, that business.
Yeah, but, dipshit people in an MLM would definitely give you more than you can freaking handle.
Exactly. Yes. Absolutely. The pyramid scheme model itself can only go 13 layers before you exceed the population of the Earth or something like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Because of the amount of people you'd have to recruit to keep making money. In my extensive research on the negative effects of MLMs, I have found some truly horrifying stories, either in the news or through first-person descriptions of their or loved ones' lived events. And I've learned that one of the biggest dangers of MLMs is how anyone could be a part of one. Anyone you're likely to trust. Your family member, a friend, a doctor could be under the mental influence and brainwashing of an MLM, or at the very least, driven to financial desperation because of it. I've heard stories, at the least, of people stealing their friends' and family's credit cards to buy their products. Doctors, worse, way worse, selling their MLMs health or weight loss products instead of prescribing actual medical intervention. This has led to potentially avoidable illness and even death. People even wind up killing themselves or their spouses due to the stress of financial ruin.
Yes, I think I've come across some of these stories of people murdering their spouse.
Yep,
Yeah.
It's so odd
absolutely.
because they're
The
embarrassed.
it's the that's it. It's scary when that happens. I can't be a failure. I have to kill my wife so she never finds out.
Yeah, like it's the financial problems is one thing, but something I never really took into account when I thought about MLMs. I can say
LMAOs.
words. I never took into account like the mental strain that it must put on people who aren't living up to the bullshit expectations.
They're impossible standards, and everyone acts like they're reaching them.
And Nikki, you talk about anyone could be a member, but you said boss babe and all this. It is targeted mostly toward women, right? Like going back to
It
the
is
Tupperware
stay-at-home
parties.
moms.
Right.
Stay-at-home moms.
Yeah. Yeah.
People who need a way to make money from home are
Yeah.
the biggest targets.
Yeah, it began with Tupperware.
And Avon.
Yeah.
Amway was actually a male-dominated one. Amway is, oh my gosh, insane. I actually spent way too much time researching like Amway. It gets so weird. It gets so weird and complicated, and it goes back so far.
What do you mean?
Everything about Amway is just insane. Like every story you hear about the people who started it and their political ties, and
They give to political causes?
absolutely. That's what I'm just going to say is in my opinion what makes these companies more powerful than the average cult is the leaders. In the average cult, the leader is an outcast, someone who's on the fringes of society with little influence. But in MLMs, the founders are very wealthy and very well connected politically due to their ability to fund campaigns and also provide large groups of supporters.
So the Amway people keep the law in their favor.
It Republic Catholicness is written into Amway's core.
Mm-hmm.
So they have been funding and like I said, can provide groups of supporters because what the founder of a company says is spread down to everyone in that company.
So any effort to like label MLMs a pyramid scheme would be quashed at the governmental level because of the lobbying.
Absolutely. And the political ties, there's been speculation for years that these large companies have been able to pay off politicians and the Federal Trade Commission themselves.
Wow.
One example of an MLM leader in political power is Betsy DeVos,
Right?
who served as the 11th United States Secretary of Education from 2017 to 2021. She's
Under
also
Trump.
the wife, and she's also the wife of Dick DeVos, who is the son of the founder and then himself went on to be the CEO of Amway.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yep.
It's so weird.
It goes deep and it goes far back, and I could do an entire episode on Amway themselves because it's
The Mr. DeVos, the Daddy DeVos.
his dad. Oh shoot, can't remember what his dad's name was, but he the two people who started Amway, they were selling like motivational tapes, but not publicly. Publicly, they were selling soap, but then you had to like know a guy who knew a guy, and they would like sell you these under the table motivational tapes.
Which, if you're buying like motivational tapes under the table from the guy selling you soap, that's a red flag to begin
It
with.
is so weird. It's so weird.
It's Richard DeVos and Jay Van Andel. I looked that up for you.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. They very politically tied. they're like friends with politicians, like, rub elbows with and are a little too close to people in power for it to be businessly ethical.
Businessly.
I'm going with it. I'm going with
Businessly is
it.
a word.
Financially, maybe.
It is now. I'll add it to my
I'll have my scientists approve.
exactly. Thank you.
All right, here's my last break-in for this episode, and this is not so much a fact check as just a fun way of fleshing out a thing Nikki alluded to. She alluded to some Amway weirdness, and so I wanted to break in here and tell just one little story to give you all a sense of what that weirdness looks like. So in 1995, Procter & Gamble, a company that makes detergents and tampons and dental products, they sued 4 high-ranking Amway distributors for spreading a rumor that Procter & Gamble were linked to Satanism. So, Amway distributors, guys somewhere on that line, up the up line, not too far down the down line, spread a rumor that Procter & Gamble products had something to do with Satanism. In the 90s, Amway products were sold almost exclusively through the phone. And these distributors spread this rumor about Procter & Gamble, a different corporation, through the phone mail system. This phone mail system, by the way, was called Amvox. And this passed the urban legend about Procter & Gamble down through the downline to other distributors in an effort to make Amway's rival products more appealing than Procter & Gamble's products to consumers. The legend didn't actually begin with these 4 distributors, but they revived it and perpetuated it, and apparently did some harm to Procter & Gamble's business. One version of the story had the CEO of the company appearing on Phil Donahue's talk show to confess that he gave a substantial amount of the company's profits to the Church of Satan, and that he said something like there weren't enough Christians in the U.S. to make him shy about giving all his money to the Church of Satan. Of course, the CEO of Procter & Gamble never appeared on the Phil Donahue show. Still older was the idea that the company's logo, which used to depict a face in the shape of a crescent moon and 13 stars, the legend was that it hid satanic symbols. It was a classic conspiracy theory kind of theme. The stars, said the legend, the stars literally represented America's original 13 colonies, but the legend said that they could be connected to form 3 sixes. And the top and the bottom of the crescent moon with the face were said to be the devil's horns. The logo dated to 1851, when wharf workers needed visual marks to distinguish between products since some wharf workers were illiterate. Procter & Gamble successfully sued the Amway distributors for over $19 million, but they also discontinued use of the logo that same year, 1995, that the Amway people revived that rumor.
So, after all of that bad news, I do have some good news, which is as of 2011, as far as I can tell, there's been a rise in anti-MLM movements. Anti-MLM movements are run by people who have been victims of or who have a loved one who was negatively affected by MLMs. Their goal is to educate people on the dangers of MLMs via media by sharing their stories, whether it be books, blogs, YouTube videos, etc., which is not only a great bunch of resources, but it's also another point in favor of MLMs being cults. A traumatized group of excommunicated individuals trying to warn others on top of everything else I've mentioned sure sounds like a cult to me.
Yeah, it's common when people leave a
Yeah.
sect of a group, and we're using the word cult loosely today. As a religious studies scholar, I prefer the word sect or new religious movement. But when you leave one, you tend to be pretty pissed because they're very demanding, like these MLMs, Nikki, that you're talking about. So when you leave, like you are hyper committed, and then you don't leave because you don't leave lightly. Like you leave the Methodist church.
No.
You're like, I just don't feel like Methodism is for me anymore, because these guys are all
And the
up in your
people in
life.
there are like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you're generally
no
pissed.
problem. Keep in touch. Like,
Yeah, you become an apostate, and then the apostates do. I mean, there's this whole discourse of apostates around Scientology or even Nexium. Like these groups develop these apostate movements that then come back at them from the outside. And the anti-cultism goes back to the 70s. There were people who tried to get you out of, the Moonies or the Synanon or whatever. But yeah, anyhow, it's interesting that it's now happening around MLMs.
It's really, and the stories people have to tell are just heartbreaking and so much more creative than I thought multi-level marketing companies would be.
It's a relatively recent phenomenon, the anti-MLM movement.
Yeah, as of like 2011, people have been trying to get the word out for a while.
That's interesting. I mean, it's like if the 70s, that was when we had the big anti-religious cult movement, the 70s into the 80s. Like, what is it about society now that we have to have an anti-MLM movement? I mean, are people really... I think we are less likely to know someone who is involved in a religious cult and more likely to know someone who's involved in an MLM.
Oh, absolutely, because it's like it's so easy to say that a multi-level marketing, it's a job. So how could that be anything like a cult or a sect, as you said? Because there's no religious aspect. But I mean, in a lot of them, there is. There is a lot of religious manipulation. And when there's not, it's what I like to call toxic positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
Like the
work.
hashtag blessed.
Yes, just work harder, okay? Just put in more time. Just cold call more of your loved ones who already hate you.
Rise and grind,
The love
honey.
bombing too,
Seriously.
like
That
the
kind of
love bombing
bullshit.
where you
Yes.
just shower someone with attention and affection. You can do it.
You're meant to be here. You can do it. And we've all done it. So of course you can do it. But no, they didn't. Not the right way. Not the approved MLM model way.
No good news there.
No.
Yeah, this whole thing's pretty damn icky.
It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel bad and gross.
Yeah. So the women today. I want to go back to that woman question, Nikki. Like women, how has it changed from the days of Tupperware and Avon? Is it the same? I mean, there's still a lot of makeup out there, and it's still the notion that it's a stay-at-home mom.
Yes. However, now it's like get your husband involved and then he can quit his job and you could both work from home, and how much better would that be? And it used to kind of be like that too, like from the origins of Amway, like a couple would come up to someone and be like, oh, I just think there's something really special about you, and like me and my husband want to introduce this opportunity to you and your husband. And so I don't know, maybe in the late 50s, early 60s, it started becoming more like get the whole family involved.
Hmm. Well, I mean, we have this fantasy now of working from home. I mean, a lot of people are working from home. I mean, here we are podcasting from home.
Well, COVID had a big impact on the popularity of multi-level marketing as well, because more people were susceptible to it, more people were desperate and not researching clearly, probably, getting opportunities presented to them and thinking, oh my God, thank God.
So,
And plus just the opportunity for some semblance of community during lockdown.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
You're going to be on video chat with these people all day, every day anyway, so.
It's the money and the community that hook you. It's the combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're so there's a religious aspect, a spiritual aspect.
Absolutely.
To tell us more about that. What does that look like?
A lot of like the religious manipulation is God wants you to have this opportunity, or they'll do like church seminars and church sermons, church video calls where they play guitar and sing God songs and read Bible passages to each other. So there's that sense of church community,
Right.
that people have, and they then once they have you interested, because you're like, wait, this is a Christian company. This is a company that shares my values. It's that much easier to get you to see past the bad business model.
Yeah, but so like not all of them are Christian companies, but there are a bunch of them
No.
that like Mary Kay and stuff peg themselves as specifically Christian.
Yes, and that's their target demographic is Christians. They're, we can have It's a company where you'll have church services and people to worship with, and the good Christian values that you have for your family, you can have it your business too. And that's usually a place religion isn't supposed to get involved, business,
No.
but they found a way to do it. And for a lot of people, that I bet is exciting. And I think that's a really sad thing to prey upon.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, it's when you the people who are suffering, who are ill or who have ill relatives, or they're depressed, like they'll peg you off, or you're trying to lose weight, they'll peg you off there. But then I think also for the Christian, here's a community that's inclined to believe,
Yep,
right? So
absolutely.
they're already primed to believe things. Let's see if they'll believe this.
You tell them that essential oils were used in the Bible,
Right.
and obviously God wants you to God wants you to share this life-changing opportunity with the people you care about.
Yeah.
Because this definitely isn't the type of thing that Jesus flipped tables over.
But I mean, there's new aginess to it too, right? The essential oils and
Well,
that
maybe
kind of
white
stuff.
Jesus.
White
White
Jesus.
Jesus did.
No, white Jesus.
He was flipping tables over essential oils.
They can come after the occult people too, though. I think is what I'm trying to say, with new agey style marketing in a similar vein, but without the Christian veneer.
Oh yeah, the health market is really big, and as far as people who don't trust doctors, don't trust
Right.
don't want to use medicine. I mean, healthcare is expensive also in the States. I'm so sorry, you guys. That sounds awful.
It is. It is.
It's so scary. It's so scary. So having a natural option that's cheaper, I mean, not probably a lot cheaper, but cheaper than your medical care would be, like, why wouldn't you, if you're in bad health, want to try this cheaper herbal tea or lotion or potion or whatever?
So you think that the health MLMs are more popular down here than they are up with you?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I have no research to back that up, but I would say that's
It's a
accurate,
reasonable
because we
guess.
can just go to a walk-in clinic and get a prescription, and you might have to pay a little bit, but it's not life ruining.
Yeah, at its core, I mean, it's like this confluence of insecurities. They pick at an insecurity and then they build on it.
Absolutely. Do you need to lose weight? Because there's a humongous market of weight loss supplements, teas, you name it, they have it. And they'll find any little insecurity. It could be your faith, your health consciousness, your need to lose weight. You could have been diagnosed with a serious illness and want to deal with it in a natural way. And instead of, there are properly researched naturopathic healing. I'm not saying that will work. I'm saying that isn't going to make you worse.
Mm-hmm.
There is stuff like that out there. Like, you can drink tea to make your throat feel better.
Sure.
But the teas that they are peddling are not that. No one cares about your health in an MLM. None of those products are good for you. None of them are made with natural things like they claim they are. It's a cheap scam.
Hey, here's some sawdust in a capsule.
Absolutely.
It cures cancer. Congratulations.
It's snake oil salesman. It is absolutely a traveling snake oils salesman. But it's
And the price at
everywhere.
a premium too. I mean, because essential oils, I'm not opposed to the idea that they can relax you and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
But the premium is placed on the sale of it, right? And so the price goes up and everything, rather than buying at the flea market.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying it from this service. Yeah.
And people get really nasty with the health claims too. Like, people like to say that natural health products can help cure autism, and you can tell by the enthusiasm in my voice how enthused I am by that statement. Anti-vaxxers, a huge target audience for the natural health market.
Sure.
Anyone seeking alternative medical solutions is wrongly looking in the multi-level marketing company direction, unfortunately, because that's the most pushed health products out there because the people who have them are trying so hard to sell them. Their life depends on it. Please buy my stupid tea. I have 700 of them.
Is this mostly what it is, Nikki? Because I get the impression that most of the MLM world is health products.
It is. It's a lot of health products. I think the pandemic had a huge part in the uprise of natural health products.
Mm-hmm. And the anti-MLM movement, is that post-pandemic as well?
No, that's pre-pandemic.
Oh, really?
People have been being screwed over by MLMs for years, and through the internet, or like even people have published books and papers and just trying to spread the word that like this could be dangerous, at least at very bare minimum in a financial aspect.
Are there organizations, though? I mean, that are, I get it, scholars and stuff, and like individual apostates get pissed, but are there organizations devoted to this?
There's websites that are essentially blogs, and that's really all I could find.
I see.
And
Where people
I think-
congregate.
Yeah, but I think mainly the founders are too well connected for anything really drastic to change.
Yeah, you can't get rid of the MLM, but is there an effort to like get people out?
Yeah, that's more what it is. It's more
Yeah.
hoping that someone in an MLM will hear someone else's story and be like, oh no, like, and the light bulb will go off.
So the project is to publicize as much as possible these stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Try to help them recognize, oh shit, what I'm doing is bad. I need to get out.
There's quite a few YouTubers who are former MLM recruits. Some of them even former top leaders themselves who have realized the damage that they did to people and have to live with that. But there's this one lady specifically, her name's Hannah Alonso, and she has a 90-part series called MLM Horror Stories, where people send her their real life horror stories from MLMs, and some people want to remain anonymous and some people don't. But it's horror stories from every MLM you can think of. There's not one good one. You might be, if you're in one right now and you're thinking, well, no, the one that I work for, no. Look it up hard.
All right. I hereby adjourn and declare closed this meeting of the Secret Order of Alchemical Actors until such a time as we get together and do it again. Nikki, you gotta say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
No.
Thank you for listening.
You gotta say who was here.
Oh, what do you do?
First of all, who did your voice?
Oh, yeah, okay. The voice today was done by Sheila Whiteway. And our oh shoot, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm tired of people asking. I can't say it.
Idea. Conversation.
I'm trying to say like the people that
Not
talked
anymore.
with me. What's the
Us
Not
guys.
after the
I
incident.
tell you, but I'd have
Your
to kill you.
panelists. That
And
was great, Nikki. It was a good
and my
conversation.
panelists,
Appreciate that. It was
Rob
good
C.
research.
Thompson,
I
the
learned a
Supreme
lot
Hierophant,
about MLMs
Hello.
today.
and Andrew Mims.
Yeah, I feel like
Don't ask about his name.
gross,
Just don't.
But I feel like that's probably the only
Get it out of us.
accurate, like, way you should feel after a conversation like
Oh yeah,
this.
no, it's been taking up my headspace for so long. Like, this is insane.
Well, you can relieve yourself now. You have done it. And next time on Occult Confessions, we're going to hear from Luke Kinnaman, who's going to be leading an episode on Dungeons and Dragons and the Satanic Panic, a cult that wasn't a cult and didn't want to be a cult, but everybody kept calling it an evil cult, here on Occult Confessions.